Cheers.
Boop. Oh.
Oh.
Sisters.
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 Welcome, love, to Soften Up with Krystal Alexandria. Soften Up is a place where you get to come and literally learn to soften your edges. And even if you know how, this is a great place to practice. That is inherently counterculture to everything we're taught about how to exist in modern day life, especially as women and femmes. This is a very special day. This is a first, y'all. But hopefully first of many more to come. This is a segment called Soften Sisters. Because this is my sister.
My smile needed the mic.
This is Tasha, my little sister and best friend. Tasha is a multi-hyphenate, multi-passionate, incredibly creative, incredibly talented human. Oh my God. I've been watching her on stages and be creative her entire life. I'm her biggest fan. Don't come knocking. I know her husband is really great competition for that. And I love him too. I'm so glad you're here because
Thank you.
we just seriously vibe together. And today's conversation is a vibey one and also a tricky one. But before we get into the topic of, is a soft belly really so bad? It's a question. Have you ever thought about it? Before we get to that, I want Tasha to have a chance to introduce herself the way that she feels called to. So,
Ooh,
who are you?
juicy. Who am I today?
Yeah.
That's such an existential question. I am a queer, autistic, ADHDer who learned later in life a lot of these things about myself. And I'm a content creator and I run I'm the general manager for a cafe that creates really beautiful artwork through food. I think all of those things it's not like who I am fully, but they make, roles of who I am on this planet. But I think it's important to note those things because, my body is in different spaces quite often, very neurodivergent spaces, very queer spaces, just different spaces, theater spaces, and how we exist in our bodies is challenging and multidimensional. And so that's who I am today. And yeah, I'm also in this interesting place of being on an intentional yet not intentional weight loss journey, which I hate calling it that.
Right. And that's what we're going to get into today.
Yeah. So I think that it's important to have this conversation because it's so challenging to have critical thinking engaged when we talk about bodies.
Because there's so much baggage for us. That's why I wanted to have this conversation, because bodies in the light of softening is very antithetical to what we've been taught culturally and societally. So posing the question, is a soft belly really so bad? It really cuts through a lot. And I'm curious for you, when you hear the word soft, what comes up? What comes to mind?
To me, the word soft feels so powerful. It feels like cute, spacious bellies. It feels like safety. I was a therapist for 4 years, and de-armoring the body is such an incredibly challenging skill in our world and in the United States. Which united is even an interesting word to like soften and like how, so
Complicated.
yeah, that's a tangent. But I would say that soften really feels like grounding and existence. Like here, it feels like nature. It feels like embodiment. Like softening to me is such a like spiritual word. It's so deep and it's so like serious in an unserious way. Like if we can soften, it completely can change our lives, especially in our bodies.
You can see why we get along.
Yeah.
For all the reasons. Yes. there's so much similar in my experience that comes up with that word. And I love hearing your take on it because there's this thing like ringing about what you said of like, it's simple yet profound, right? Like it hits so deep in a way that like, have we ever let ourselves go there? So going there with this conversation, I mean, it is a very potent ask that I'm asking of us today. Before we dive in any further, I do want to say if this conversation, it is bound to go deep. It is bound to hit on very complicated emotions. So just take care of yourself. If today is not the day to listen into this, it is going to be here anytime that you need and want. Could be a nice self-care night where you snuggle up with a cup of coffee, tea.
I would do the coffee.
Maybe tea. You would do the coffee. I would very much
Over
not.
caffeinated.
And just, listen in. But we, of course, are here to speak from our own personal experiences. Even though Tasha has a therapy background, she's not speaking as a therapist today. She's speaking as a human on a journey with a body. And I echo that as well. So just take care of yourself. And I'm really glad you're here for this conversation.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
It is Mercury retrograde. Shall we make sure that the video is working properly?
Yeah.
And the sound is working properly?
Yeah.
And
We can. Yeah.
okay.
We're back, y'all. Mercury did not get us this time.
She did not retrograde our anyway.
Anyway, but let's not talk about it. Okay. So is a soft belly really that bad? When I posed this question to myself, this is something that came to me while driving upon getting ready for the podcast when it was still like forming itself. I almost like went with that as my very first episode actually, because to me, like I said, it just gets to the core of things really quickly. But when I think of soft belly through the lens of any age of me before, let's say like 35, younger than 35, I was very deeply, highly trained, like a lot of us, that a soft belly was so not the goal.
Yeah, like corset that shit.
Okay, put it away,
Yeah.
hide it. You don't want any sign visible that you have rolls, softness, any of that, right? Which I have right now underneath my shirt. But I remember not even being able to touch this part of my body. I didn't look at it. I didn't touch it. And so now I'm 41. I'm in this whole new era in my life of, I would say, embodiment, somatic awareness. Like my body is my friend. My body is my bestie. I love taking care of her. I love it. It is a high honor for me to take care of her. So is a soft belly really that bad through today's modern lens? Like you as today?
Well, I think it's like multifaceted. So I understand and I love that my belly can be strong and protective. In a circumstance where I need to be on high alert or like safety is in question. Like I love that my body can fight and be in that mode of survival. And that mode of survival, I was personally living in, oh my gosh, like for most of my life, where it was constantly like my midsection was engaged all the time. And now I feel like I was actually doing this morning where I was like looking in the mirror and allowing like my belly to be full and to be soft and just like being with it for a moment. All of these old stories popped back in about how that's not like what the goal should be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. I think this ties into like weight loss and diet culture, like really toxic diet culture for those of us who like have it ingrained in our heads that disappearing to like a size -20 is like the goal.
Yeah.
I think now like my relationship with softening is just so tender, and I feel like so grateful that I can soften in my relationships. Anytime I enter a space or a room, like my shoulders can soften and relax and my belly can relax.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to remind myself to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? So it's still kind of like a conscious cue
Mm-hmm.
to like body, it's okay. We're safe.
Yeah.
And that's the irony about being so deeply trained to want like a flat stomach. When it comes down to it, a belly softens when it feels safe, right? So like that tighten, like sucking it in, trying to appear like it's not there. It's all of these like embodied ways that I'm trying to hide myself, shrink myself, when really, like when I'm most me, when I'm most relaxed and present with my body, that exhale happens. The shoulders drop, like my belly extends, and I don't have to think about it anymore, and it's like a deep relief. So I just think it's interesting to counteract and I think you and I can like get into a lot, and I want to, around bodies and expectations, and like when bodies change, and when our relationship to our bodies change, when our health drives a lot of that change, extending ourselves grace is the softening. We're on the literal level, we're talking soft belly, but the softening is a mindset. It's an invitation to soften the edges of ourselves, and a lot of that's in our mind.
I think too, I'm just thinking about dem titties. I'm just thinking about my titties real quick. So like if I wanted to have kids, which I don't, and if I had this intrinsic drive to have children, which I don't, if my titties were to work for their purpose, they're the softest thing on the body. They're so soft, and yet they feed humans.
Yeah.
Which is like so trippy to think about, because like that is the most comforting thing to a child, to like a new life, is this soft tissue and this fat that just hangs on the body.
Yeah.
And it literally gives life.
Yeah, literally.
And it's like, so then the question I have is like, what does a flat stomach, quote unquote, represent?
Right. I mean, my take on that is we're trying to clone men in some way, because for men, that's a priority of like fitness or health or vanity even. And all of the standards that have been just chucked down to us are men derivatives.
But like dudes, I imagine there are dudes that don't even want that.
No, of course not.
It's like bad for everyone,
yeah. And how many men and queer folks have this same kind of body images, body image issues as we do.
Yeah.
We're all affected by these shit-tastic systems that tell us that we're less than for being exactly what we are. Like, it's problematic for everybody that touches it.
It literally does no one any good that society has told us we need to shrink. It does, like, there's no empowerment in that. There's no like critical, like layered, there's no layers. It's just like so bland and basic. And, I just watched the Tyra Banks documentary.
Oh, bless you.
Did you watch?
No.
Okay.
I can't bring myself to it.
Please don't.
No.
Honestly, like, especially like knowing you and like knowing where we have come from. Honestly, it was so effed up to listen to re-engage with, because I was like, shit, like this was such a part of my growing up.
That's
America's Next Top Model.
Where these messages come from.
And, Tyra Banks being the person that's like, I wanted to change the industry, except she is doing it in heels. She is doing it as a woman and like just degrading people in their bodies.
Yeah.
I was like so alarmed at that, because we breathed that air for our entire lives.
For a lot of years, that was on television.
It's like so truly mind blowing to think about being engaged with that environment when you're going through things. I almost said menopause. When you're going through things like puberty. Yeah, like puberty, and your body's growing. I remember in 6th grade, was the first time a boy called me fat.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I was so confused by that because I had never engaged with my body in that way. I knew that I was like different and I knew that I looked different than other girls.
And different means curvy?
Curvy, definitely.
Yeah.
But that still, it doesn't like, send waves up my nervous system the way that it used to, but
Yeah.
I still think about that. Like,
Oh, totally.
and how did that boy even have the thought to like be like, I'm going to have this derogatory thing said towards you?
Yes.
What?
I had such a similar experience. My first like boyfriend, quote unquote, whatever that means at 13, 14, rode over to our house. And,
We're like, when we talk about things, we're talking about the same.
like, oh yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Not weird in a bad way, but
no, it
that
is
house
because
that we lived in.
because we're rarely with somebody say like, oh yeah, we live there.
Yeah. That's
Anyway.
trippy.
Yeah. And he came over on his bike and he's like, try it out, ride my bike. And so I did. And then I went down just one house and he points and starts yelling. He's like, oh my God, you flattened the back tire. You're so fat.
Fuck that guy.
Whose tire was flat when he got there?
Wait, you can bleep this out. Who was this?
Little shit.
Wait, I can't remember who that. Wait,
Yeah.
I want to remember.
Yeah, well,
you know what I hope for him? That he had a bad case of diarrhea.
He probably had many of them.
He's got to pay for that shit.
Listen,
That's so disturbing.
Yeah. And then because similar things, it's a complete reorientation of self when you hear something like that. Because we had a lot of body image stuff growing up with family stuff.
Yeah.
And
oh, yeah.
Which
I think I just like blank out of my mind.
Yeah. Like we grew up in a Latin family that was very much assimilating into American culture and mixed messaging constantly. Literally grown by curvy women who are very healthy, vibrant, dressed well, like cooked amazing food, had family over, like very beautiful life with our family. But with those mixed messages, because the first thing in Latin culture, well, at least Venezuelan culture, I'll speak for, is first thing when you walk in the door, oh, you've gained weight, or oh, you're so skinny. Like there's some comment on your body the minute you walk in the door. So I got trained to dress for that and eat for that. And like, seriously, it goes that deep.
Like family parties and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
totally. It was like
so dressed up. And
yes, it was like that sense of validation and belonging that you wanted. And that immediate comment was like whether the night went well in my young mind.
Oh my God, I'm having this moment realizing that's why I became the hat girl.
Because you could deflect with the hat?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's wild.
Interesting.
Man, that goes deep.
No, it goes so deep. Okay. And then, I start getting these messages from the outside, which by the way, by standard, I guess, understanding, we were never fat as children.
No. Who's fat as a kid? Like,
I know.
Also, like, what? That's just.
It's horrifying, truly. We were athletic and I was tall. I was taller than everybody. So at that age, I was probably already like 5 feet. You know what I mean? Taller than definitely him. Mm-hmm. And I started to just think, I'm like, and even at that age, I'm like, where did he learn that? Like, so you just know that you're hearing it in the house somehow. Mm-hmm. And then I encountered in the like church community, because we went to Catholic school, I had overheard his dad talk to his mom in a really aggressive, like derogatory way. And I'm like, bingo.
Bingo, bango.
Bingo. And guess whose mother was also a curvy woman?
Oh my gosh. Like if you hate women, just say that.
Oh my God. And then we wonder why we are where we are. It just is multi-generational.
Misogyny, fat phobia, like that shit runs deep.
Seriously does. Yeah. When I'm talking in current day about loving on my soft belly, I am rearranging my inner 13-year-old's reality again. Every time I reinforce that, there's still a relief in it. There's still like a clarification happening of like, oh, like there was never anything wrong to begin with. You know?
I do. And that just like brings up in my experience, like the complicated relationship I have with being on a GLP-1. So I'm on a GLP-1.
I am as well. And we want to talk about it.
Yes, because this like is such a it feels like ping pong or like a mental maze to try and sort thoughts around loving your body the way it is and the way it was, but also feeling really good. And that just so happens to have come with weight loss.
Yeah.
So I started a GLP-1 because it was my hip. My hip pain was so bad. I was doing a show that had a lot of physical.
Tasha's a musical theater. So when she says shows, she's on stage. Oh,
yeah. That's good context. Yeah. So like my whole dream in life is to do theater full time. And that's a whole other conversation. But I was doing a show. It was the first ever produced musical for Playhouse Square, which is actually a touring house that we have here in Cleveland. So they've never done their own show. So it's a really big deal that I'm part of the original cast of a production. And at that time, I was the biggest that I have been, and I loved my body. Like it just like did not cross my mind ever that my body was bad, because I had just developed such a deep, beautiful relationship with my body.
And she was so good in it.
Oh,
I mean, you're
thanks.
great in any show you're in. My God, you bring so much heart and passion to it and talent. Hello. But that, especially the show, is aimed for children.
Oh, it's so cute.
It's sweet. Can we say the name of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
The show is Velveteen. And it was just so precious to see her inner child up on stage, thriving.
So fun.
And then I had invited, my friend with her little kids, her little girls, experiencing it through their eyes, experiencing it through my eyes as proud big sister, experiencing it through my friend's eyes, who's a mother of 2 little girls. Like, none of that was in play whatsoever as far as like criticality about body. It's like, it's like you're up on
sparkly.
stage. It is so sparkly and so sweet, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was so sweet. And it was so wonderful to be in front of so many kids. And that, in my mind, I'm like, this could be someone's first ever musical in like a big playhouse like this.
And it was.
Yeah, for so many kids.
So many.
And at that time, I mean, it's a very physical show. We're jumping around. We're doing all of these physical things. And it was the first time that I was feeling real pain in my body, like real deep pain in my hip, real awful pain in my lower back. And I'm a very physical person. I love working out. I love running. I've been a runner my entire life. So like all of that stuff, I was doing all of it. But then I was in so much pain that it halted my movement. I just remember that the night, I think it was the first iteration of the show, because there were 2 separate times that we did it and we like changed it. So the first time we did the show, I remember coming out to see you guys after the show and being so deeply in pain that I was like going to burst into tears and being like, I have to go. So I started seeing specialists for my hip and started going to my doctor and just being like, what is this like chronic issue? We couldn't figure it out. This was the first time I ever talked about weight in an empowering way with the right people in the medical field.
Ooh, tell me more.
Okay, so the hip specialist I went to, we got into this conversation about weight, and I had disclosed like, this is the heaviest I've ever been, but I like feel really good. And
aside from the pain.
Yeah, right. I feel really good about my body, aside from the pain. And I don't remember how she brought it up, but it was in the gentlest, most like informed way of like, have you ever thought about this is a lot for your body to handle with the amount of physical things that you do, because this is the first time your body is at the size. So like, have you thought about like inflammation and how those things are affecting you? And I was like, that's interesting. Something inside me like resonated with that. It was like a spark of truth where I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
So it was like more the literal mechanics of your frame carrying around weight while trying to do these like very physical things.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. Because you don't hear that quality of that conversation. It's usually this like moral judgment about being overweight.
Yeah. Well,
or
the issue
quote, unquote,
is
obese or the frickin' BMI thing.
Oh, fuck the BMI.
Fuck the BMI.
Fuck the BMI. Yeah. So then I went to my doctor that I've had for a few years. We have had weight conversations where I have shut it down very quickly. And I'm like, I don't want to be weighed. I don't, that's not the problem. I will not talk about that.
I'm literally not here for this.
Yeah. But there was something about being introduced by someone else that like, I was like, okay, I feel I'm resonating with some truth in that.
It also sounds like they led with a lot of grace.
Yeah.
Humanity. Presence. And care.
And the care piece where they're like, we could do, it was just like the right moment.
Right.
And then I brought it up to my doctor, and I think it was me bringing it up to my doctor that was the difference. Because if my doctor would have brought it up to me, I would have been like, F off, like I'm not listening to you.
And the F off, like where was that coming from for you?
Because I've been told that weight is the problem my entire life by medical professionals. Yeah. And I was just like not having it. And I think if they would have brought it up, I would have been like, nope, I'm not listening to you. So that shuts that down.
Right.
And this was when like GLP-1s just started, like commercials about GLP-1s. And I was so against it. Truly was so like, F that. That is like it's not okay. Was not okay with it.
And where was that coming from?
Because I'm pissed at America constantly, but I feel like I myself as a woman has been told my entire life that I need to be skinny in order to be valuable. And I was at a breaking point with that. I'm like sick of it. And when the GLP-1 started, I was like, absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Okay. So
it didn't hit my brain also that it was for anyone's health.
Well, because they're not communicating that.
No.
In these
I was
commercials.
Like, oh, great. Drugs.
It's being framed as a weight loss drug, which its origins are a diabetic application of the drug. And then through that process, there's been other applications that have become clear that they're useful, like metabolic health, which is why I got on it, because I have a metabolic disorder when it comes down to it. But that was never framed to me that way either. So when it's framed as a weight loss drug out the gate, of course, you're going to be against it. It's against your ethos. And it's also hugely dehumanizing. It just flattens your entire like dynamic experience, everything that you've shared, plus so much more that you're not going to share, like just because we don't have time, all down to this like flat 2D slapping a medication on it. Yeah. Which is just not what you value.
There's also no education about there's no education about taking like the shots, and there's no education around why it's useful, And I think the thing that changed it for me, I had that first conversation with my doctor, and my doctor was like, let's try metformin. And I was like, okay. It was like a soft sort of entryway into that world.
Yeah. And just so metformin is usually applied for prediabetes and diabetes, but also has the ability to spur some weight loss. is what I learned.
Well, and our family tends to be pre-diabetic. Like it's not that intense or severe, but also like I didn't like in my head, I kind of like blacked out the fact that I've had a really hard relationship with food because food made me feel so bad all the time. And like I would overeat as a sensory seeking behavior and make myself feel so sick. So like there were things in my relationship with food, and being an autistic person, my relationship with food is really complicated because there's some foods that are my safe foods and then all of a sudden they're disgusting, and it's hard to get the protein and nutrients that you need because your nervous system literally cannot tolerate certain textures at certain times. So that was all happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to my therapist, who is the best, the absolute best. And I started talking about the pain that I was in and just had a full breakdown about it and was like, I think it is related to weight. And I think that my relationship with food is really fickle and really hard. And they were like, interesting, and like shared that they were on a GLP-1. And I was like, what? What?
Is this like disbelief rather than judgment?
Yes.
Okay.
It was like when my old therapist was like, I'm a social worker. And I was like, excuse me? You're a doctor. In my head, I was like, you're a doctor, you know? And like, it's those moments of being like, wait, there are people close to me who are utilizing this drug for health reasons. And it just didn't like cross my mind.
Wow.
So that changed everything for me.
It really did.
You know, and I had a friend that was also on a GLP-1 who helped me through getting on one, like, and just like all of the things I was going through. And I think that matters, being able to talk about it in a healthy way with people.
The only way that I am still on a GLP-1 and actually receiving long-term benefits from it is because I had you. You went first, and then you cultivated community around you that you were learning about. You were normalizing side effects. You were like, you had more wherewithal of like, what is a alarming side effect and what is completely normal, and you haven't drank enough water and who knows what else. Because the first, for me, I've been on it
Over a year.
You've been on it over a year. I've been on it just about.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
8 months.
Just about 8 months.
Mhm.
But my first 6 months were not great. Like I was struggling with the drug, with the dosage. I went too high, and then my body was having all kinds of reactions to that. Where I'm going with this is that it is because of having you ahead of the path on it and having community that you were connected to that helped me so greatly, because I really was like, they really just like take your money, send you the meds with some shots, and you're just supposed to know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never given myself a shot in my life.
Oh my God, the first shot is like
The first
hardest
shot
thing
was
ever.
terrifying. I literally had to like, I was asking my wife, like, I need help mentally to
Same.
like, am
Yeah.
I making a huge mistake? Am I going to make myself more unhealthy? Like, does this have like side effects that are going to make it worse? Like, I'm like, if I had health anxiety before, I was definitely like, all of it was flaring and louder because I just, yeah. And so 8 months later, literally just this past month, I go to reorder on the website because we're using Compound Labs for it. And that's complicated too. But I just found materials on their website of like how to properly load the insulin needle. And I happened upon it. It was like an accident that I found it on the website.
Well, and I think like it is going off of that, like with the whole like softening conversation, I think it's really important to be with your body, like every shot you take, every
Yes.
time you reorder, every time you're thinking about what this medication is doing. Like if my body ever says stop or no, I don't want this anymore.
Yep.
And I know that because like I've trained my body to talk to me, you know, and to not hide from me.
Well, you have like a relationship with your body.
Yes.
You talk back and forth.
Yeah, I'm always talking. And that includes like where I'm even taking the shot. Like I've changed my shot location
Like
because
where on your body you inject.
Yeah, because my body was like no more in the stomach. And I was like, great, you know? And I think like being able to listen to what your body needs, it goes like so far beyond the medical field.
Yeah.
It's just like so valuable to have that relationship with yourself.
It's so incredibly valuable. Like you can literally save yourself from some seriously terrible situations by listening to your body's intuition. When you ask your body those questions, is it visions? Is it knowing? You just know? Are you hearing?
Okay, funny story.
Okay.
Krystal knows this about me since like I was a kid, that I had separate drawers in my body that like the food would get stored in. Okay.
In your mind.
In my mind. So like in my mind, I visualize like this drawer opens for dinner, then it closes, then this drawer opens for ice cream. And like I would always say, like if someone asked me like, do you want ice cream? I'd be like, my drawers are full. Or you know what? I can open a drawer for ice cream.
She would literally have to rearrange her drawers before she could have dessert.
Yeah. And like mentally, I would literally visualize those drawers like rearranging, right? So now as an adult, my body is like this spiritual being within me. So like I can visualize this like very feminine, beautiful essence when I ask my body things.
Oh my God.
It's like this separate being, but it's not, it's me. So like when I ask my body like, are we hungry? I get like this very soft feminine response.
Like soft in tone of voice or just like energy.
It's like us like knowing, like the soft knowing that my body is talking to me.
Oh my gosh.
And so when I visualize it, it's like this colorful, just like this colorful energy in my body.
Every time I take the shot, I as well hold the vial and kind of like almost attune energetically to it. Because what was so striking in the very beginning, the very first vial that I received, held it in my hand and let my body kind of attune to it, like I said. And I was really surprised that it felt so high vibrational.
Yeah.
Like I literally, I could feel the vibration of it. And I have never experienced that with a medication ever in my life.
Literally, I felt the same way.
Interesting.
When I first got the medication to go into my body, because that was a whole feat, I felt this like spiritual, this sounds so weird to say out loud, but this like spiritual goodness like come over me.
That is so, we've never talked about this part of it. I'm very fascinated that you had, actually I did. I remember in the beginning, it felt magical.
Yeah, like this magic, like just like it was the medicine my body needs and needed at the time.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting, not to like curve our conversation completely, but like now it's really interesting last night I was in rehearsal and I filmed myself.
Tasha's in a show right now.
Yes, I am in a show right now. I was in rehearsal and I filmed myself dancing and I had this freaky moment of being like, who is that? Because I have always seen myself this way, but now it's like physically this way.
Oh my God.
Not that like I've ever been like, you're skinny and like you're this size.
No, it's literally spiritual. It's like
it's so weird
level thing.
That like, this is when I like have these moments of like talking with my future self or like doing these manifestation exercises with my higher self, I look like I look now, which is so weird because nothing was wrong before in my mind of like, I still felt really great, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
It is unexpected. But no, the dissonance is bizarre. You're right. And so part of why I chose this route was because of metabolic health, but also because of this like spiritual crisis that I was perpetually in, of thinking that I looked a particular way. And then in every photo and in every mirror, in every reflection, I would be so thrown. In therapy terms, body dysmorphia absolutely rings a bell, but it felt like it was inverted or something.
No, I feel like it's still body dysmorphia, like no matter which way you see it.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's what I had to like realize about it. So like on a human level, body dysmorphia for sure. And Are we surprised? Are we surprised? We're literally told and coached from a very small being of what our bodies are supposed to look like. And then you end up being 5'8" and curvy and athletic, just in my case.
And oh my God, have hair on your body.
In so many ways that our bodies are just bodying, right? And then we're just like, oh my God, how do we reconcile that? And so we end up coping, and we cope through food, and we cope through alcohol, and we cope through emotional dysregulation, and we cope through chaos, and like all the ways. But being such a health-minded person, I have invested thousands of dollars over the years into my health. Functional medicine, regular medicine, Eastern medicine, acupuncture, physical therapy. I want to thrive in my body. I want to live a long time. I want to live to 120 years. Just saying. Shoot for the moon, land among the stars. But, and in order to get there, I know that there's foundational things that I need to be working on now. And so this is one of them. But the spiritual the inability to reconcile this crisis internally that I think I look a certain way, and then I have to go through my life feeling so far from that. And then to do everything under the sun devotionally to take care of my body and to not be able to get there. That is so frustrating. Like being an athlete, working out, I'm taking care of my body. I eat so well because I don't like feeling like shit. I love nourishing my body and finding new recipes and all the things. It's like a hobby. I love it. It's a passion. And I could not understand the barriers between me and aligning my outside to my inside. And so we're always on our journey, let's be honest, with our body, but I'm on the journey and I'm starting to feel and see changes. It's been a really long, tough road. Every time I hit luteal phase, I would be again in another like breakdown, and she knows because she's the one I talk to about it. I'm just like, I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know if it's working. It feels like a ton of money to be spending and a ton of investment, time, energy, everything to be learning about this. Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? I'm finally seeing signs that it's working. And that is very relieving to me because I finally feel that all the pieces are coming together. And what I've realized is that this medicine is a tool in my toolkit. I don't intend on being on it lifelong, but also I feel a shift around, just like we've talked about, like you don't ask people when they're getting off their anxiety meds or their blood pressure meds. Why would we be asking?
I might be a lifer. Like, I don't know that my body can be without this medication and I can have reduced inflammation in my body.
Yeah.
And that's different for us. And yeah, I don't know what that journey looks like.
I don't know either. Yeah. I feel more of a softening towards that possibility because we are talking about genetics. Like when we look at the archetype of bodies in our family, we all are struggling with this, like the same inflammation. And then it has so many tentacles of what inflammation does to the body. And if I want to live a long time, I need to be taking care of my heart. I need to be taking care of my joints. I need to be taking care of my stomach lining and my like digestion and my brain, And inflammation is a systemic issue in the body. And I mean, there's so many spokes to this of like the access to medical care and the fact that we have to like pay out of pocket for something like this. I mean, the fact that we can is its own miracle, and I'm very grateful for that. But then also like all of the toxins we're fighting against every day. So like I said in another podcast of like to quest to be healthy in this country is an extraordinary feat because we are combating so many mental stressors, emotional stressors, political stressors, socioeconomic stressors, medical stressors, and then, everything in our environment has some kind of shit-tastic, that's the word of the day, toxins in it that, we don't even know are there. It's so much. It's so much. So I think also what I've learned is that our bodies take the brunt of a lot of that. And what I've learned about my just background with my trauma and complex trauma, I often turned in on myself and my body as a mechanism for controlling something. Immediately the emotions are there around this, because as a big sister to you, I feel deep grief about the ways that I used to talk out loud about my body in front of you.
Oh,
that one time
that's hitting
in the dressing room at the mall.
Oh gosh, I don't remember what you said, but
it was awful. It was.
I just remember.
I just took it out verbally on myself, and we're almost 5 years apart. So if I'm in my teens, like, you were so young.
I just remember like feeling like I couldn't help you, and that was the worst part.
Yeah.
Is being like, I just wish she could see herself the way that I like saw you.
Mm-hmm.
That was always really hard.
So hard. And I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
I was in so much pain about it all. Mixed messages from every direction. And then being the one, the eldest sister, to, be parenting you and getting through what we were getting through. And I have so much care and compassion for her now, because those eruptions honestly needed to happen.
Yeah.
To get through.
I think it also inadvertently like taught me how to hold space and not try and fix, because like that's all I wanted to do at those times was fix you.
Yeah.
And like, not that you were a problem to be fixed, but like fix you as in like fix your issues for you. And like, I think I knew on a subconscious level that I just like couldn't, and like you had to have your experience, but it was like so tough to see you go through those moments.
It really was. And I was also just like mirroring how my, mom and elder women were talking to themselves, and I learned that, and then I'm like modeling it for you, and it just doesn't it feel sometimes like we're just out, it's like wild, wild west, like we're just like,
well, and I think that's
surviving
why
it all.
This conversation is so important, and I feel like it's important to gather with other women, and I'm going to say that very generally, to like talk about these experiences, because it can feel so isolating. And there's a part of me that like wants to also bring in the body positive movement. And I feel like it was so enriching to be like a part of that. And I think I'm going to critically say that I do think it got shoved into kind of a malicious side of things with the GLP-1 and like skinny talk, quote unquote, like journey. But I think we need to remember like body positivity is about your body at any size and celebrating that. I just think about how beneficial that would have been growing up to have women empowered by their bodies versus, what we got.
And to have the exposure that we have to see so many different bodies.
Thank God.
Right. Because you just know your school, your neighborhood, your family, and maybe sports. Like that's the close to home, exposure that you have. So I think it moved the needle in some ways. And then also in the same way that there, like, so many people are being critical of like, and we're coming back to like the skinny yachts. What do they call that? Low rise. Yeah. Low rise and like heroin chic and all of that. I mean, that should be criticized. We were criticizing that even when we were young. We knew something was wrong with that. And for folks choosing medical support in order to feel healthier, and frankly, it's none of my business.
Truly.
It's none of my business why they're choosing what they're choosing. And some people might be doing it for vanity, and that's still none of my business. I know what I'm choosing it for. It's for longevity, health, and feeling good in my body. I don't want to be barely able to work out at 38, 39, 40 because of joint pain. Like, that's a signal from my body that something is off and that something needs to shift. Couldn't figure it out on our own. Seek medical attention. That's literally what it's there for.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have your own reasons too. So softening the edges around the criticality that is floating around this, and just trust people to know what they need, and to trust that they have a relationship with their body that they're working through, working towards, are in, who knows? But we have to give them that room.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think it's really interesting because I think now, personally, I am at this new journey of loving my body as it is because it feels like now I don't have a right because I am at this size. Like, I don't have a right to celebrate my body and I don't have a right to like take up space in my body, which is all of my shit. And it's just another chapter to existing in our bodies. And to whoever is listening or watching, like, I just want to express it is that deep, it is that complicated, and we can feel like this is like my therapist's brain coming in, but like we can feel like we have closed a chapter to healing and feel so solid in it, and then we get rattled, and then it's like, wait, I thought I healed all this. Well, it's a great opportunity for me personally to go deeper in my body healing, because if this stuff is coming up, it's coming up for a reason, and it's still ingrained from when I was young.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lifelong journey. The last piece that I want to speak to as well, during kind of like quarantine era, and I had just moved back to Cleveland, so we were both in the same place again. I feel like you and I navigated the body positivity or even body neutrality in a really powerful way that set the stage for where we are now, where we were both in, well, so I had gained 40 plus pounds during the end of 2019 into 2020 and into early 2021. I just chalk that up to the stresses of the times. Hello, we were going through a pandemic, but also I had serious healing I was doing after a breakup. I had temporarily moved back with my parents. It was an intense time. Also, I have tracked back that I was shifting into perimenopause territory, and I didn't know that either. So it was a conflation of a lot of things, but our conversations were so valuable in so many healing ways as sisters, healing our lineage, but also just like navigating the days in different bodies than we were used to. Because both of us, I think, were in bodies that it was the biggest expression of them that we ever had. But we did a lot of like, I just feel like
So much healing.
I'm
like
so proud of us.
dancing.
Yes, somatic
so
dance.
much somatic dance.
So much somatic dance, which, oh my God, is such an incredible practice to just being in your body and dancing for you, literally just between you and your body, not performing,
God.
no mirrors, just between you and letting your body do what it wants to the music.
Is wild because we're talking, this is like, I was looking back in 2024 in my calendar and somatic dance was a thing. So I created this class that would help women come and express themselves fully, and we would dance and we would scream and we would yell, and it was just like the best thing ever because I just felt like I really needed that. So I created that, and I was looking back at my calendar, and this in 2024 was major somatic dance territory. And the astrology right now with this eclipse coming up tomorrow, or the eclipse tomorrow, is very much like what was happening for you in 2024. So I think it's like wild we're having this conversation because you're talking about an era of time.
Yes.
In which is like we're having this conversation and circling back to it.
Eclipses eclipsing, doing what they do.
Yes.
We're talking about the Virgo full moon eclipse.
Yes.
In March.
So where were
2026.
you circling to?
So what I was saying is that having done that essentially body acceptance work, I really did get to a point of like, listen, self, if this is the body that I meant to spend the rest of my life in, how lucky am I?
Damn.
She can dance.
Ooh.
She can hike.
Yes, she can.
She can write beautiful poetry.
Yes.
She can have wild orgasms.
Yes.
She laughs with her sister.
Oh my gosh.
She travels the world.
Carries this incredible heart and soul through life, and like carries like this wisdom.
Right?
Damn.
Digest food every day.
Don't have to tell my heart to be
beautifully.
Yeah. Sometimes sleep is great. Perimenopause is
that all changed after 38.
Damn.
Okay, but like, wow, to get to that point, you know? And I really was. I was just, I'm like, if this is where I land, this is where I land. I accept it, but I also really value it. aging is a privilege. I'm grateful to be in this body. I mean, literally, I need my body to live the rest of my life. So to get to that point was a very powerful, potent way to go into this new era where I just got honest with myself, because this is also the trappings of the body positivity where you're like, I accept myself. I'm fine. Only to realize you're actually not fine at this size, which is a huge mind F, like mindfuck territory, because you think that you've accepted it and that in acceptance that you have to stick there the rest of your life. And I just realized that I was still grappling with this disconnection of, I think I look a certain way, and then I see myself out on hikes, and I see myself, and I'm literally walking down the path in the national park, and I feel a certain way, and then I see a picture, and I'm just like, I am so confused by that. And it's very, very painful to not see yourself the way you think you see yourself. I don't really know how to put any other words to that. And maybe you get it as you're listening.
I think that's really powerful. The piece of like the body positive piece being, that's how it's written. So, but then we get into this really treacherous territory of, am I body positive and accepting myself, or am I disassociating and just kind of being like, cool, I'm chill with that, I'm not going to think about that.
Right? Or are you like body positive, I'm good with myself, to then fit in with everybody else who's saying that?
Or judge other people. Here's the thing. And in my mind, a piece of something that I'm working on is when I see someone on the internet showing their fat rolls, I am so fucking excited and happy, liking that shit, commenting on it. And I'm like, thank you so fucking much for taking up space and this gorgeous body. And then for me, it's like, how do I talk to me though? If I was my own comment section, what would I comment about seeing my own rolls and seeing my own skin?
How's that going?
It's complicated right now. It definitely is, because the soft belly piece of like, it's smaller now. I feel like I am slightly turning in on myself.
Are you catching yourself in the same rhetoric that internally you were talking to yourself when you had a bigger body and wasn't liking it?
No, my bigger body and I had so much positivity and so much great conversation.
Interesting.
This body and I am critical. I find myself to be critical and to not be so gracious with this body.
Interesting. How are you softening towards yourself, or are you still figuring it out?
I know that that's a script that's running like subconsciously or subconsciously.
Yeah.
So I have to consciously interrupt it.
Okay.
So like when I'm at the gym and I have a moment of being like, you're too skinny, people, oh my God, it's like, I feel so bad for saying this, but like, you're too skinny, people are going to hate you for being too skinny. It's like, who the fuck just said that? Wow. Whose voice is that?
Do you feel shook, like freaked out when you?
I feel freaked out because I think it's our family shit.
Okay.
Family members who have been like, you're too skinny, you need to eat something. You know?
I just, in my mind, I'm like, we can't win.
No, like, and that's the thing.
No matter where you're on the spectrum, this whole conversation is fucked.
And that's why it's like important to have these conversations with yourself every step of the way, because I could let those subconscious scripts really take the conversation.
Down. Yeah.
And I just can't do that to myself.
Yeah. So I think, speaking of medicine, we're talking more metaphoric and spiritual medicine at this point, is to presence ourselves. It's to presence ourselves to what is. And I think it's going to be unique to every single person, what it is that you choose to focus on then. For me, my practice is, okay, whoa, catch myself in the act. Okay, that was intense. That was intense. And I don't love the way that we just talked to ourselves. Okay, tossing that to the side. What is true? What am I grateful for? And that usually kind of like sets my crown right again of like, okay, I'm working out. I have an able body right now. I'm here by choice. I chose to be here. I want to be here. my body can do these moves today and maybe not those moves today, and that's okay. And I'm breathing, I'm well loved, I have a beautiful, safe home. I get to do X, Y, and Z later in the day, and just bringing it back to the present moment of almost like life beyond the borders of my body. Because when it comes down to it, my body is the vehicle for living my life. And I don't want to be just like turned in looking at my body, being critical of my body and call that living.
Mm-hmm.
That's not living. That's a weird kind of like self-obsession going on, actually.
Yeah, and like constantly being critical of the car you're driving. Like,
Yeah,
this
like,
car needs,
oh, it's blue today. Oh,
damn it,
God.
it needs new tires. I should just get those new, and like constantly being critical of the vehicle.
And not driving the damn car.
And then like it's like chill, get an oil change. You're gonna be okay. Like
go on with your day.
just have some snacks. Actually
Eat something.
hydrate yourself.
Yeah.
Do you need a nap? Sometimes we have to talk to ourselves like kids, like
Yeah.
toddlers. Like what basic needs are not being met?
No, really.
Ooh,
No, really.
girl.
By the way, water check, food check, snack check.
Yeah, I might need
Yeah.
something.
We got to
soon.
do that soon.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's a big consideration. All of this came from asking the question, is a soft belly really that bad?
And our conclusion? No, it's not.
actually glorious.
Yeah.
And a sign of safety and health. Nature softens. Why can't we?
And it's cute. Please, if there's one thing that you take from this conversation, bellies are cute. They're so cute and just like in my mind, they're like little bunnies. Like cute little bunnies are just bellies are so cute.
I could not agree more. I think what really shifted my mind, especially around like bellies and like thighs and butts and like stuff like that, is dating women. And I'm not objectifying women and saying that. I'm just saying that dating other feminine bodies helped give me perspective on my own.
Truly.
Oh, truly.
You cup a tit and you're like, God, this is glorious. And that's like, I see my tits a different way. Wait, this is
No,
cool.
I do. It's true.
Yeah.
Though. It's really true. So much reframing and reorganization happened when I started to let myself explore my sexuality.
I literally will gently ask my husband if I can just like pat his belly. It's the softest skin. I want it. And like it's also helped him to be like more,
Yes.
empowered by his belly. And I'm like, please I just love it,
Soft
Wild.
bellies are glorious.
Glorious.
They were glorious the whole time.
You know what we should do? If you're like driving or doing other things while you're listening to this, we should all take a nice deep breath and soften our bellies.
Okay.
Here we
3, 2, 1. Breathe in.
Exhale
all the way out.
And let it roll and jiggle and wiggle. It's so good.
Releasing those muscles feels so good.
It's so nice. Love you,
I'm
belly.
sorry I put you through so much.
Oh my gosh.
And thanks
Thanks.
for keeping me alive.
Damn, thanks for your patience.
So much grace. Our bodies extend us so much grace throughout our lives.
Also, belly buttons. Like we were fucking connected to someone. Like how wild is that? Like that's in your belly. Your literal
That's where we
existence.
started life.
That's nuts. Nuts. Bodies are cool.
Bodies are amazing, and we're lucky to have them.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Oh my
Thanks
gosh.
for this.
Thanks for having me.
Love you.
Love you.
I hope you come back soon
I
for
will.
more.
Duh.
More Soften Sisters coming at you.
You can't get rid of me now.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to leave you with this. May you know how incredibly blessed you are to have a body and to have lived this long in said body. And may we also all know the grace of living long, beautiful lives. And in the case that our paths don't go quite so long, I hope that from here till then, we really cherish the moment of being in the body, our bodies every day. I like to think of like souls hanging out in the other realm of just without bodies and them just kind of like looking down on earth. And they're like, man, it must be so cool to feel sad. It must be so cool to like laugh and run around. I hope I get a body someday.
Oh my God. I hope that I can shake my ass like that someday. You know what I
Right?
mean? Like they're like,
delicious,
damn.
yum. They're
Like,
just like, I
dead
want to
ass.
taste food. I want to hug somebody. Like, what's that like?
I want to slap someone in the face with my tits too. Actually, I can't do anymore because I got a breast reduction. Sad about that, to be honest.
Yeah. So we actually are, I know we go through a lot here on Earth. Oh my God, understatement of the century. But may we learn to cherish these vessels and vehicles that we call our bodies. May they be our friends.
And may we not always think of them as a project.
May we live our lives deliciously.
Yes.
Cheers. See you next time,
Bye.
loves. Bye.